Folks without dignity.
What is up, everybody? I know we're a couple minutes behind schedule, but we're going to try to make up for that. My name, of course, is Zeta. This is Meow Cat. You know him from the last stream. You're going to get him again on Tuesday, but we've got an exciting matchup for you today in McGill versus... One second. Let me just make sure this is correct, because
I believe it's Waterloo
McGill
B versus Wisconsin-Madison.
Wisconsin, yes, not McGill. That should be it. So title text a little bit incorrect. We do have Wisconsin coming up here. And they are still, a very, very competent team, right? They have a 6-0 placement coming in to this. There we go. University of Wisconsin-Madison. There we go, coming up here. But as we load into draft, I do want to make a couple quick mentions. University of Waterloo B, fall record 5-1. They only lost to Ryerson, went 0-2 in that week. In the Winter Invitational, they went out in the round of 32, actually. And same actually happened in University of Wisconsin case. They went out 0-2 to Ryerson, the team that beat University of Waterloo B. So, in fact, now we're going to see which team is the better team that Ryerson took down once we load into our draft phase for game number 1 of the round of 32, University of Wisconsin-Madison versus Waterloo B. And keep in mind, this is just before, the Silas being globally disabled and the Kale getting trotted out as well. So we're looking at some different stuff here. It's going to be a little bit interesting once we get into the draft phase. First band's going to be that Nunu.
Nunu just kind of in a very easy to pick up, not super high skill ceiling either, so you can get a lot of value out of him while not being the most experienced with him. Obviously did recently receive some nerfs, but not coming into effect in this series, as well as the Rek'Sai, who has been extremely dominant with the Conqueror. Conqueror did receive nerfs this patch. Again, not going to affect the series though. So taking those two junglers off the table, plus the very strong power pick Evolution. If you don't want to first pick it, then you got to take it out.
Yeah, and they removed that. The Kazakhs as well, still deep into the draft phase. We got to go because, after all, one of these two teams has to have a little bit of an edge. I might not come in draft, but generally in League of Legends, one of two teams wins the game, right?
I would say about
99.999% of the time or so, right? But beyond the, server crashes, everyone gets DDoSed back in like Season 3, that stuff, not really going to be an issue here. Juan Carlos Fist locking in the Ezreal. What do you think of that as a first pick?
Yeah, so with the Lucian off the table, that does leave the Ezreal as the other pretty high prio ADC. Obviously, with crit itemization coming into the meta, coming into the mix, it's not nearly as impactful as it would have been in previous patches, as, it was basically just those two ADCs dominating the meta. Now, it does look like Too Hot to Trot is going to be picking up a crit ADC in the first rotation. I would highly doubt they would save it until third pick, and I really doubt they'll save it until after that. So I do expect to see an ADC paired up with the Braum right here.
Could it not be a jungle though? I mean, they already see that there's an AD, and so they could pick an AD in that first rotation, but I think, yeah, this does still make some sense to me, right?
Yeah, so they prioritize the Sejuani pretty heavily. As long as they pick the Ezreal, a counter to the Ezreal as third pick, that is fine. However, if they leave it until the second ban phase, they are going to be going down the rabbit hole a little bit when it comes to drafting their ADC, as there would be 4 of the top ADCs taken off the table, as it would be the Lucian Ezreal and then 2 of the ADCs that Waterloo does not want. Excuse me, I believe that's University of Wisconsin on the left side. So I believe that they don't want Waterloo to be getting one of those high prio ADCs, but it probably will be picked up here in response, as it looks like it's just going to be support, ADC, and jungle taken on both sides in the first draft phase.
Yeah, that Jarvan pickup, I mean, it is slightly flexible, right? You can play it top lane. LCK did play it and flirt with the idea of it as a support for a little bit, but, you know, it's not exactly the right kind of composition to be going that when they already have the Tahm Kench selected. Probably going to be that case. Kai'Sa is going to be that AD selection that you so predicted in the last pick of their first selection phase. And now Wisconsin are on to their first ban.
Tragic.
Yeah, the Aurelion Soulband coming out. There is a decent amount of global pressure with the Tahm Kench, and so a heavy roamer like the Aurelion Soul would mean that it is just constant threat from Fog of War. So taking that off the table is going to open up, you know, a lot more safety for this Kai'Sa. She's going to be able to walk up a little bit more, get CS, and it also, if they can get a solid top lane matchup that is very good with the Sejuani, something like a heavy auto attacker, Kled, a Fiora, or Jax, something along those lines. Although the Jax was banned out, but just a champion that will auto a decent amount. It will set up very well for Sejuani's E. She can then use E to initiate the ganks instead of using the ultimate. Save the ultimate, get that first stun, second stun, CC them for 2 years, keep camping that top laner, get them snowballing, and then you have a super strong 2v2 with that. So we'll have to see if that's the plan that Waterloo is going for.
They certainly don't want to deal with super strong top laners, banning out the Jax and the Kled. And, you know, you could even argue the Lissandra, a little bit more aimed at the blind nerd, of course, but still, not wanting to actually take a risk on the top lane, given the fact that they're going to be able to be counterpicked here. I'm kind of expecting it to be a little bit more of an immobile champion, things that do really poorly into Kled, Riven, chief among those. I think Darius does 50-50, right? It's not like you're a guaranteed win, but I can't imagine somebody picking Darius at this point into, you know, playoffs. It's round of, you know, it's getting to be a little bit dicey, right? If they go too deep. And yeah, the Riven's going to be that pick.
And yeah, with that Riven lock-in, it is a bit risky as a blind pick. However, they did take away, you know, some of the matchups they didn't want to deal with. And notably, I believe the Yorick doesn't do too great into the Riven, as she has a lot of abilities to get out of his wall. And a lot of AoE that would kill the ghouls pretty fast. So I don't think it's a horrible matchup if it is picked up here, as Yorick is extremely strong. So Riven should have tools to deal with him. Obviously, it is still a Yorick. If he's left in the side lane unchecked, he will destroy tower after tower. And this is also pre-nerf, which the Conqueror nerfs hit him a little bit. He received some minor nerfs on his own. So he's gotten a little bit down in priority, but he, on this previous patch, was a monster, and we are going to see that Yorick in full effect in this game if it is locked in.
Yeah, if it gets locked in, I mean, you gotta expect it to be able to do pretty well against Riven. You laid it out for us, but is that going to be it? It should be. I mean, we're seeing a little bit of that, you know, bug where it just waits around sometimes in the select, but Yorick's going to be that lock-in pretty much for sure. I can't imagine anything else they'd really want to swap it to. With that, team comps are going to be decided. Zilean mid with the Kai'Sa. We've seen it a couple times before, right? It's a composition that's favored by such perennial favorites as Cloud9, playing that Zilean to repeat almost to death in the LCS, and by a lot of people that depend on the top lane and AD for their, you know, really important picks. But we should be able to see that, more importantly, when we get in the game.
Yeah, I'm also excited for the blue side, as their composition is very cohesive. They got a clear-cut game plan, while red team has a little more tools to work with, a little more playmaking potential.
Yeah, the playmaking potential is certainly possible, but as we load onto the Rift, we are going to take a look and make sure that what we can do is actually select. We can accurately predict what team's going to come up here, I'm expecting it's going to be side of, University of Waterloo. A little bit of early game lead, you think. Zillion doesn't do fantastically into Orianna. Ezreal Kaisa matchup, certainly 50-50. But we're going to be able to load into Rift very soon. Once we do, we'll see where they all pan out. All right, got those settled out. It's didn't get to watch their walk-ups, but we still have time for the introductions. On the blue side, it's the University of Waterloo. Juan Carlos Fist in the top lane, Dark X in the jungle, UW Clout Chaser in that mid lane, Third Bolt at AD carry, and Special K as their support.
Yeah, and on the red side, we have University of Wisconsin-Madison with, up in the top side, Dat Desolation Dew, Arcanine Dan in the jungle, the Blind Nerd in the mid lane, Too Hot to Trot on AD carry, and G1 on support.
A little bit of the aggression's actually Aatrox top instead of the Yorick. They opted into the semi-skill matchup instead. You favor this more or less than that other pick?
So, yeah, obviously not the Yorick pick that we were speculating on.
Oh, wow. It's a bit of early aggression. Keep in mind that Desolation Dew, he might just die right here, and he will be solo going down first blood, given over to Juan Carlos Fist, picking that kill up on the Riven. I mean, certainly a fantastic thing. Already having forced the teleport and the flash out of the Aatrox means that there are going to be no summoners in the top lane. But at no summoners, who do you favor in the mobility game?
Definitely would favor that Riven, especially with Aatrox. I believe the patch they are playing on is post Aatrox E change, so he only has the 1 dash. So this is a lot less mobility to match into this Riven. As you see, he's already having a lot of trouble. Even after he TP'd back to lane with full HP, she's still the one in the driver's seat. So
yeah, I mean, up like CS, already has the kill, of course. The Jarvan lurking around here, no vision as well. I mean, they saw the Jarvan walk into try, but the Aatrox just has to be super careful, because if the Jarvan sticks around, the Jarvan goes for, a late gank, he dies twice, that lane's over.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused on the pick of the Aatrox, especially on this patch where Conqueror is so good on Riven, and the fact that Riven is one of Aatrox's worst matchups and vice versa, where Riven loves laning against Aatrox. I
think the Yorick is a really good pick though, right?
Yeah, Yorick, I mean, is extremely strong. Even if the matchup is a bit rough, he will still just destroy side lane. And Yorick is also one of the better picks into Riven, just statistically anyways. Not the best pick, the Kennen is pretty solid. You could do something like obviously the
Teemos or
Poppy is notably very good as well, and more meta, fits into a composition very well. But yeah, even the Yorick pick that they were hovering would have been very solid, so it's a bit interesting to see the Aatrox take in here. Well, and just going a little bit holistically, the Yorick also does pretty decent with the Sejuani on locking down targets. Obviously not the Riven, because she can hop the walls, but if they can find the Orianna, she will never get away from a Yorick Sejuani.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real issue, right? There's so low mobility on the Sejuani, on the Orianna, that you think, okay, the Sedge is enough. You mentioned it earlier, the Zillion slow, it all kind of combos really well into bringing down Orianna early. The problem is, if that top lane is going super poorly, now you have to think, okay, do you devote more resources to it, right? Before, with the Yorick, you've got pretty much a winning lane. You mentioned that multiple times. If you don't have those winning lanes, obviously more pressure on the jungle, obviously more pressure the longer the game goes. So we'll have to see how that split push war exactly pans out, because after all, CS even now, kill differential though still matters.
Yeah. I feel like Aatrox in the side lane is going to just get beat out. I think Aatrox in team fights is going to provide less utility than the Riven, as she has a lot more just AoE disruption, and she can engage a lot better than the Aatrox because of her extremely high mobility. So while he does have the little advantages, hold on, wait, watch this Jarvan in the bot lane.
He's really close, flag and drag, but the flash has already been burned. Hot to Trot has actually dodged that out, but no summoners being used. Actually, Dark did use a summoner. So jungle flash for AD flash without having the 6 onto the Kai'Sa. This could be the second kill, though. Look at this man. Aatrox, no HP, no chance. And Juan Carlos Fist will pick up his second solo kill of the game, the Riven, ringing loud and true for him, as it has been for so many players so far this season.
And that is extremely scary. This Riven can delete the backline on the side of Wisconsin-Madison if they aren't careful. They do have tools to stop it. The Braum Wind Wall can block the Riven ultimate, I believe. That, you know, he also gives extra resistances, has a Guardian to keep the Kai'Sa alive a little bit. Kai'Sa has a little bit of mobility to slip away, and the Zilean does have the invulnerability. That's the big thing for keeping that Kai'Sa and himself alive. The speed up and the ultimate from that Zilean. But if there's a bit of a misplay, even if it's on cooldown, or if she blows it, you know, makes him use it and then goes for another target, if this Riven is to a point where she can live through some of that damage from Wisconsin-Madison, she will just take over this game.
Yeah.
And she will, even if she can't team fight, she's always going to have
matter.
that
Who do they send, right?
Exactly.
Who do they send to stop the Riven? And
I mean, you have a Zilean with teleport, but
Zillion and Riven, I mean, you're just asking to get run down, right? She has 1 mobility spell, sometimes 2, depending on when you use that rewind. It's not enough to stop Riven, right? That's the real issue. You can't wave clear better than she does, especially into the later phase of the game. She just outpokes you, she outdamages you, she outchases you in the long term. It's a really, really hard ask.
It's definitely risky. I mean, the slow on Riven. Oh yeah.
A lot riskier than expected. Ultimate on a 2 though, Flag and Drag, big combo, and now the Zilean is the one who has to be careful. He has used his ultimate. The bombs both go off. Not sure he's gonna get out, has to use the flash to ensure that he does. And the Orianna, not having used either summoner, is gonna be at a major advantage now in that mid lane. Has 2 combat summoners to use to the Zilean 0.
Yeah, also a bit of a CS lead in the mid lane is being built up, and just all around CS on the side of Waterloo is overall higher. We see that they're rocking a CS lead in the top lane, mid lane, bot lane, as well as we saw the Jarvan getting aggressive in the Nova lane. Has a slight lead for himself, and you know, it's already become a 1.5 gold lead, which at 7 minutes is a pretty respectable amount.
Yeah, it's not
I mean, it's
anything
actually 2K now.
insane, but it is, you know, that's enough gold that you say, okay, so where is it, right? You've got probably 800-900 alone in that top side differential, and then CS leads both at your AD carry and your mid lane positions. That's fantastic, right? It's not an insane lead, again, but great stuff to see. You need that. You want that. Don't need it,
good
but you do
foundation
want that.
sets you up for much better plays in the mid game.
Ooh, G1 over the blast plant. Very surprising that he would go in like that and wouldn't have the follow-up. Not enough vision, maybe? But they do peel out.
Yeah, a bit of a little wishy-washy play. It doesn't have too much effect in the end. It is interesting to keep an eye on this bot lane, because the Tahm Kench Ezreal is one of the safest lanes in the game. But with the Jarvan there, they do have the ability to possibly lock down the target due to the Jarvan and the Tahm Kench chase down. So
yeah,
if they are, you know, abusing when Sejuani isn't there and forcing play, they could potentially snowball on this Ezreal, which would mean that he's going to be extremely safe and deal a ton of poke. I mean, as we see right now, it's not like they have to play under turret. They can still trade back and forth a little bit.
It is still a little bit far up, but that's why you have the Tahm Kench, right? It means that it's so hard for them to gank you, because even if they get the ultimate onto the Ezreal, he gets eaten by TK, gets out. If you get the ultimate on the TK, sure, you might kill the TK, but how much are you going to burn to do it? That's the real issue.
Yeah.
2-3 here. Dark is going to ultimate onto both of them, and now he's going to try to follow it up onto Arcanine Dan. Very low, very little time left to live. They're just going to wait for the Zilean passive to burn out and then take him down, giving it over to the Ezreal for the double kill. 4 kills now on the side of Waterloo, and they have no signs of slowing down so far.
And that's also the kill gold on that Ezreal, like we were talking about, how he's extremely safe and he will deal extremely good damage with that power. That is very scary.
Trapped on the wrong side of his turret. Look at this. The Riven, I mean, he's going to burn him down, but he doesn't even want to ult yet, right? He's saving that for after he comes back out of his revive. And now, I wouldn't go for that. It's so risky under turret. You can decide the exact same thing and back out. Pressure towards the bot side, but it's just going to be a drag.
Pick up That's a pretty big pickup, I should say, for
Yeah,
the side of Waterloo. Yeah, exactly. That Mountain Drake, without a traditional ADC, it is a little bit harder to DPS objectives. Obviously, they have a decent amount of supplemental damage with top lane and mid lane,
Orianna.
and the Jarvan as well. So
Yeah,
just
Jarvan
scattered.
auto attacks Sim. They've got Orianna for the range damage. They do have a lot of tools.
Yeah,
But as you
the
said-
only problem they have is really just melting objectives, but the Earth Drake is going to make their objective contesting much easier. They're going to be able to use the Ezreal to poke the enemy side out, force Madison back, and then after Madison is low, then they can say, hey, we're going to go for the objective as long as we have a level lead on our jungler, or we have the ability to zone out the enemy jungler using either the Riven as a front line or the Orianna to zone her. Then easy objectives.
Or even the TK, right? You could even throw TK at them, sacrifice him, get, you know, a Baron, an Elder, whatever it has to be. He is still a frontline, and expendable one at that.
Yeah, that is true. At the same time, you do also want to have him kind of able to protect the backline a little bit. That Orianna is notably susceptible to-
lands. Cleanse used, but there's a lot of people here. Ultimate only catches the Zillion. That's not going to be enough. Arcanine Dan gets the first kill for Wisconsin. Great collapse from G1. Actually would have escaped that had it not been for the Braum, but the ultimate catches the Jarvan in transit out of there, and the Ignite will be popped, but it won't be enough.
Yeah, he does get the Rift Herald before that whole play, though, so in the end, yes, they made a play on the top side of the map. Yes, they got the kill onto Clout Chaser, but because the Rift Herald was already taken, all they can really do is get a mid shove in, maybe make a play top lane, which does look like they might be looking for. No, nothing really come of it. And that also leaves bot pretty exposed. Some turret plates are now going to go over to the bot lane of Waterloo.
They're like one turret plate away from taking the entire thing down, and this is only 12 minutes. Remember, there's another 2 minutes before plates fall off of these turrets, so the longer they have, the more plates they get, the bigger the gold lead gets. And now at 3K, keep this in mind because it's getting very dangerous. Juan Carlos, he wants another solo kill. Brings down the Aatrox. This is the second time he's done this. Burned through the ultimate, but with none of his own ult remaining, the retrigger at least, he's going to have to back off. And the CS lead still so even for how much he has earned in that top lane. It is still such an even lane.
Also, if we pay attention to the bot lane, just this Ezreal's at a huge spike. Sheen plus the Muramana.
Yeah.
Excuse me, yeah, stacking up to the Muramana. He is just going to be dealing tons of damage. Not even having a Triforce yet, by the way, on that.
Ooh, ultimate doesn't land. Blind Nerd, he gets the flash out, but remember, he has his ultimate just waiting around. Doesn't get caught. The Rift Herald, though, definitely catches in towards the turret. Lands a big chunk of damage and will be brought down, but for the mid turret, certainly worth it.
And you gotta keep in mind, that was also a turret with plating still up, as it was before 14 minutes. I was gonna say, we do want to see when this Herald is used and what they're gonna get from it, because if they can smack down a turret with some platings left on it, he can just give a ton of gold to one member, whoever lane he's in, right? Decides on that mid lane, obviously having an open mid lane makes the map control much easier. Getting a fed Orianna is really nice, but hold on a second, Riven up in the top lane, getting ganked.
Yeah, this is one chance, but they don't have what it takes to make it happen. The teleport is there from Ezreal, of all people, the only other one with a TP on the team. And when he arrives, sure, they sit up, they take notice. But more importantly, now he is already rotated, right? They're already here to take the last remaining outer turret, so the macro play has already come out, and all they have to do is take the TK and rotate behind whoever comes to stop him.
Yeah. A bit aggressive by the Ezreal, but does get a decent chunk out and escape. I also want to mention the rune choice by Special K on this Tahm Kench. We're going for the Aftershock on Tahm Kench. Yes, you can get stuns. Yes, you can eat an enemy, although it takes a bit of time to get that Aftershock proc. You can't really get it at the start of a fight on command, like a Thresh or somebody who can just pop that instant CC.
You know,
yeah, exactly. So you can't really determine, okay, I'm about to get hit hard, I need to proc this now. It is a bit questionable in my opinion. You could go for the Guardian or, notably, the Spellbook. You are against a Braum, a Zillion, a Sejuani. Having the Cleanse available whenever you need it.
Definitely an option as well, but the ultimate lands in the mid lane. Speaking of Cleanse, that's what they're going to use here. 2 ultimates have now been burned, and Too Hot does indeed pick up his second kill. Another combo play leading into the Kaisa. getting a kill. You know, this seems to be Wisconsin's MO so far. You know, they won't really fight unless they have their Kaisa, they have her nearby, and they have the CC ultimates specifically to make it happen.
Yeah, playing around the cooldowns, they are doing
Oh,
very
no
well.
ultimate for this though. Has to flash out and use the heal. No sums remaining, but the TK teleport behind. This fight is going to break out in earnest. University of Wisconsin, they don't really want this anymore, and even though Zillion is TF'd in, he now needs to run away because after all, there's a Riven here, and the double kill goes over to the Jarvan. It is just Waterloo getting a watershed moment and breaking this game wide open. 6k gold lead at 15 minutes.
And that is just a ton of gold, especially this early on in the game. That's a very one-sided start to the game. And with the amount of power, with the amount of damage that is on the side of Waterloo, it also makes them a lot harder to kill on certain members, like this Riven. With CDR, she's also going to become tankier when fighting out here. So you got to keep an eye on this Riven, who's just becoming a big menace. Jarvan's also just deleting members along with the Ezreal, who is reaching another big power spike with that Triforce and Mana Immune.
He's not even going Frozen Fist, he's going straight for that double damage.
I mean, yeah, it kind of makes sense if you consider the damage spread on the side of Madison as well. They have a very decent amount of magic damage with the Sejuani, the Zillion, and the Kaisa. And so he's just like, the armor's not going to mean too much. I would rather just go for a Triforce rather than Iceborne because I'm already snowballing. He wants to accelerate this game and crack it open and just pop people, which he is doing very well, I should say.
Do you remember the old Ezreal build that used to happen right before Double Tier came out? It was, you had the Mana Immune, of course, and you had the Triforce, but then there was a Ghost Blade third, and you just started popping people with that, right? This was maybe season 5 or so. It was just absolutely insane. You just saw Ezreal's like rush this out and, you know, get insane amounts of burst damage. Talk about accelerating it. They certainly want to do so in the top lane. 1 versus 3 though. Juan Carlos, he might be good. Not that good. He will go down, but not before his Jarvan gets here, gets the knockup, and with the ultimate, combos in for a Zillion kill. There is the arrival of Special K, cereal of choice for Waterloo right now. That Despacito though, Desolation, excuse me, gets eaten up and maybe sacrifices Toad for his worth. He does indeed pick that kill up, goes down. Ultimate though saves him for now, and that's still a beneficial trade for the side of Wisconsin. 1 for 2.
Wisconsin, pretty happy with that one overall. Just not having a greatest start means that if they take a trade where they go 1-2, that is wonderful for them, as it evens up the gold quite a bit. In comparison, I mean, you know, 3 minutes ago it was a 6k gold lead. It's still the 6k gold lead, but now the gold percentage differential is a lot lower. So definitely a better position to be in right now. However, the double Earth Drake is a bit scary, especially with the Ezreal, who's able to crack towers a lot faster now by himself compared to before, where, you know, the extra attack speed was nice for his team, but now he can just smack those towers down, man. Yeah,
you really can't. I mean, it's starting to get a little bit scary. You got a lot of damage now.
Especially with the Triforce too. You gotta add that on top.
Yeah.
That does, like, we touched on the Iceborne Gauntlet versus Triforce in a fight in a single target.
I mean, the W for Ezreal does so much damage to turrets, right? That's one of his main reasons he brings them down quickly now. He can actually siege because the W latches on. You get that burst damage. And it's just crazy, crazy amounts of burst that he can actually put on the turrets. Of course, the Triforce is defying it, but even at his base power, you know, Frozen Fist style, he still does insane amounts of burst.
100% agree on that one. And now this Ezreal getting that second tier pickup too. That thing's going to start ramping up. And I mean, third bolt is just not going to fall off. He's just going to keep scaling up with these power spikes. Every single item he picks up becomes even more and more scary. Goes for the Sork Shoes too. He just wants to destroy health bars. That is it.
Yeah, that ultimate with the Sork Shoes. I mean, you look at the MR total on the side of Wisconsin, there is none of it. 0. They have no MR beyond what they took in their runes or masteries. I can never keep those two straight now, but what I can keep straight is the fact that this is a game in which Madison, right, they have a crit AD, they have the Zillion to empower him, but they don't have that threat, that side lane threat that would enable them to be the 4 versus 4 composition. So now, things are going to get dicey unless they get that Aatrox online.
things are definitely dicey already at this point.
True.
I would definitely say that.
7,000 gold, you know?
Yeah. They do have very good single target lockdown with a Sejuani ultimate, with a Zillion double bomb, with a Braum, you know, getting that Q, getting that those auto procs to get the stun with the concussive blows. But it is pretty hard to find a target at this point. I mean, you have Orianna with a cleanse. You have an Ezreal who has the Arcane Shift and the Flash available at this point too. Tom Kench, who realistically is one of the easier targets and maybe someone they're going to look for. Jarvan, who is pretty tanky, Mertreads and EQ available. And then Riven, who has so much mobility that it's going to be hard to find the skill shot on.
Ultimate, but she's got plans, double ult used, and the flash out. We've seen that tile as old as time, you know, multiple times it's happened this game, but they've never been able to catch Cloud Chaser just because what he does is he only plays aggressive when he has so many of those sums up that he can do this, right? That he can respond and not go down. He has died a couple times for his aggression. The team, though, now trying to respond with another Mountain Drake. This will be their third of the game. So much bonus damage to these turrets.
For sure, they are just dropping it. And another Mountain Drake. It's going to make it that much easier. I mean, with the composition they have, with the way they want to play, they have the split push ability. They have very good poke. And, you know, old Ezreal, he was able to take down turrets okay because the W gave his team attack speed. As a whole, if there was nobody to contest it, he could maybe do it a little bit faster with his whole team there. However, with Ezreal's play pattern, the new W feels so nice because it allows him to walk up for the Qs and poke, and if they back up because of the Q, he's able to W auto the tower and then walk away. He doesn't have to continuously auto attack anymore. He can kind of go for more burst trades, more poke on the tower, which is definitely in line with his playstyle, and it makes it much easier for him to kind of play in those sieges. And so with a triple Mountain Drake, I mean, that's just going to be, he's going to walk up, Triforce, auto a tower with a W on it, and it's going to lose a fourth of its health like that.
Just so much damage. I mean, that's crazy, right? Absolutely insane.
I mean,
right now,
no other way to really go over it. And with the Baron,
it's just crazy.
They also have a triple Mountain. Look
Oh,
at that
the Ezreal damage.
Exactly. It is just dirty at this point. I mean, he hasn't even finished his second tier item, and he's still
Once
doing
the second
that.
tier item finishes, I mean, it's just going to get even more dirty. And right now, they're going to try and get the first pick. G1 has not burned down. The Zillion ultimate still on him, but he gets caught by the Ezreal. What an arcane barrage. Finish it off. The missiles, all that he needs to make that happen. And now they're going to turn for that Baron. This is a play in which they are even in members. Remember, the Orianna not close enough. Oh my god! The Kaisa hasn't gone down yet, but it's so close. The shield saves her for now. But just barely living is too hot. And they're going to have to rethink their plan. If they go back in like this, the Ezreal's going to take the exact same advantage. They have the wards over the wall. It was what enabled him to go in the first time. He almost gets a second pick, but if that had happened again, if that second Q had landed, that would be a very dead Kaisa and Baron from Waterloo. I mean...
Yeah, they might want to just take the reset because the health is a little bit low on the side of Waterloo. But, wow, they are just... That Ezreal, solo... like sieging or just poking people away.
1 versus 3 jumps over the wall, right?
Yeah, and I mean, literally just the Aerie from the Zillion kept the Kaisa alive. Like that is, you don't want to be taking plays where you know your ADC has to walk up, but the only thing saving her is a little dinky Aerie shield from the Zillion.
I mean, Kaisa ult as well, right?
Yeah, that is a
that shield,
but that is a lot longer of a cooldown.
Yeah, it's
which,
true.
You know, the Ezreal he can abuse. He can force her to use it when going forward or something like he did. Now it is on cooldown. It's gonna come back up soon, so he's gonna have to be able to redo it again.
But he has the damage, right? That was just a WQ auto Q. The second Q didn't land, but it would have killed. So you want to talk about being able to expend that. That combo comes up more often than a Zoe with 40% CDR. It is absolutely nuts. So being able to keep this Ezreal down, is it even possible at this point?
And he does pick up that second tier item. Now it is still stacking, so he's only getting a third of the ability power, I believe, from all of his mana items. But he is getting the full AD because of that Muramana. He is going to be dealing a lot of damage with that Muramana still. And it's just... as soon as that thing is fully stacked, he's going to be basically unkillable because of his own mana shield. That thing will be humongous. it's all eyes on this Ezreal right now, and that's not even to mention his other teammates. Riven is doing fairly well as well. The Jarvan is doing pretty good. The Orianna is getting caught. Like, look at the CS of her. Like, she died a couple times,
but
look
she
at
died
the
and still has
CS.
240 CS. You know,
Yeah. Like she is 92 CS up on the Zillion right now.
Oh my god, almost with 2 deaths. Zillion has 3, admittedly 1 more death, but 1 death does not a flame make, right? Flame horizons usually don't just happen because you died 1 extra time in lane. This one is because Zillion doesn't just repeat wave clear, right? That's just not what he does, and the Orianna is more than happy to just sit in the side lane, sit in the mid lane, push those waves out while her team just kind of forces the objective. Oh, that's Aatrox's ultimate already popped. Side lane could go down soon, but not as soon as this fight is going to happen. After all, third bolt already is on a rampage. He's got himself G1. And that Desolation, even though he flashed away, gets brought down. Carlos Fist with the 1 versus 1 outplay. Waterloo, they've got more than what they need. The Jarvan, he might not be at the objective, but doesn't look like he needs to be. If the Sejuani isn't there, he doesn't need to be either. The Smite is the only thing that's going to matter. He is up 1 level. So, oh, he's down a level actually. This Smite could happen. It's all in this edge. It's all in this contest. 2,000 gold. Flashes in the pit, but it is blocked by the rest of their team. They engage onto the rest of the members that are remaining, and they do, in fact, bring down the Baron Nashor to boot. 1 auto attack would have been all that it takes to finish off Cloud Chaser. Not going to happen. Too hot. Too trot. Has to trot away. Go back to the stables for now because it's Waterloo all the way down, baby. 12 kills to 4. 12,000 gold advantage. And only 4 turrets have fallen. 26 minutes in, you gotta say, this is looking like a very commanding lead for Waterloo.
Yeah, and at the same time, Waterloo also stopped the damage on the Baron when they saw Arcanine Dan jump over.
Play.
And yeah, and just we were like, immediate, let's turn on the Sejuani. She jumped in at a roughly around 2k HP on the Baron left. They instantly stopped the damage on it. It was beautiful to watch, and right now, too hot to trot, maybe in a little bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, it's pretty close to being a dead situation. And by dead reckoning, I would say that this is a 5 versus 2. It is right now a very dangerous time to be a Wisconsin-Madison player because after all, they are now an endangered species. Less than 20% of their team has any way to stop this. And now it's about to be 0%. The CC from the Sejuani forced back and off. But even if they can bring down this minion wave with the Baron empowered minions with so much damage, you think it has to be over for game number 1. And it is Waterloo starting to clean up the base, starting the end of the first game of this series. And they are going to take the next at just over 28 minutes in with a very commanding victory.
Definitely a very decisive game 1. It will be a bit harder to see the game 2 pan out this way, as in the draft they probably aren't going to be getting that Ezreal that did so much work. There will probably be some kind of variations going down, probably a wrench thrown in that Jarvan and Orianna combo as well, as even though we didn't see it too many times, the Jarvan performed extremely well, and Jarvan Orianna is also extremely scary, so maybe taking away a part of that component as well.
They have a lot of things to think about, right?
3 losing lanes, basically.
Yeah, they have 3 losing lanes, and they got to take care of all of them. But we're going to take a very short break because the players are almost already ready for game number 2. Don't go anywhere. CSL, LoL. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, we are back. It is CSL LoL. We're jumping right into draft for this game number 2, not wasting any time before we get back to the revenge match. Looking like Wisconsin now on the blue side definitely wants to change some things up. You know, we outlined a lot of things that had gone wrong in the last draft phase. Not sure if they can fix all of them. We'll see if it happens.
Definitely need to keep a close eye out on this draft, as it was definitely a huge deciding factor in the last game. We do see the Ezreal banned out by the side of Waterloo, which they obviously think that if they leave it up, Wisconsin is going to be taking it. And we saw how dominant it was in the last game. It makes sense to not want to give it to the enemy team, as it was basically the game-winning pick. However, the Lucian is still available in this draft. The notable thing from the last draft, we'll have to see if it's going to be the last ban here. If not, is it going to be the first pick, or are they going to call the bluff on it?
You know, I'm gonna expect that they call the bluff, but maybe they don't. You know, the Ezreal's removed. The Lucian was actually banned out last time by the side of Waterloo, but they're gonna opt for the Braum again, right? This was the same pick that they paired with the Kai'Sa last time with Lucian up. Have to expect that they're gonna pick it, and they are instantly. If that wasn't gonna get selected by the side of Wisconsin, you better believe Waterloo's gonna take advantage.
Waterloo just see that Braum pick and they go, yeah, no, we're not going to let you take that Braum Lucian. Or sorry, excuse me. No, I'm correct. Yes, I team side selection. They switch sides. My brain can't flip-flop. But the Lucian Thresh, very strong kill lane as well. Obviously not the Braum Lucian that you might want, but it is a bit interesting to see them prioritize that Braum over the Lucian, as, you know, Lucian does pretty well with other supports like the Thresh or even Ardent supports, although not too great on that previous patch, especially in competitive play. They just are a little bit too squishy and easy to catch out. But a huge pickup in the top lane jungle duo. I did mention this one.
Soul.
Whoa,
Oh, man.
You want to run us through some of these that are these picks that were just picked?
Wow. Okay, let's run down some stuff real quick. So you said top lane duo. Yamin Jax Sejuani, certainly a far cry from that Aatrox and the Riven matchup where it's slight losing, not able to, you know, eke out any kind of a lead. This is a lot better for him. A Soul, though, is a Soul, right? He's gonna roam to a lot of side lanes. Do you think the Sejuani's gonna be able to keep pace with the monster of mid?
It is an extremely strong roaming pick, as well as a bot lane having good setup on the Thresh and so much early game damage with the Lucian. The bot lane roams are going to be extremely important in this game. We'll have to see on the other pick in the top lane, but with a Jax, you think that he's not going to put too much effort trying to gank that, as Jax has a bit of mobility to sidestep the Q. Jax also has very good turnaround potential, especially with a Sejuani. I was talking about champions that worked well with Sejuani last game. I listed off the Kled, obviously one of the very good ones. The Riven is okay too, but Jax was one of the notable picks that I mentioned. Jax Sejuani is very strong, and he can jump on a target, hit them, stun them, and then hit them, and then Sejuani just comes in for a stun again. Then she can use the ulti afterwards, or even just pre-6. You get really easy stun access on the Sejuani. So these top lane ganks are going to be extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to see where that Lee Sin makes his home. You mentioned top lane ganks. Top lane counterpick still on the table for the side of Waterloo. With the 80 carry potentially being a Yasuo. With the Braum, you know, it can happen. With Sejuani, it's a melee champion. It procs that passive pretty well. They've got a couple knockups, in fact. Gonna opt for that Xayah pick at the very last second. You like this more or less than Yasuo, though?
I'd say it's more standard. And with the Jax, you probably do have a winning side lane. It might be safer to just pick a safe ADC. The Xayah has the ultimate. You know, you have a lot of CC in this bot lane as well with the Sejuani Braum. There is just so much crowd control on the side of Wisconsin right now. And with the Karthus too, you can CC those targets up. If you want to, you can engage with the Sejuani, you can engage with the Jax, flashing in, queuing, counter-striking for the stun, or any kind of variation, maybe with a Braum following up or something like that. Keep them locked down for the Karthus. You have extremely good counter CC with the Xayah, with the Braum, and you know, your front line as well. And that works perfectly for the Karthus. You can get those health bars low. You can get him sitting there, leave him open to the Karthus. He can just run in, hit him. It is a little bit scarier with an Olaf who can ignore a lot of that CC as well. And the Olaf matchup into Jax, we don't see Olaf top lane too often. It's questionable. I don't know if he will win the side lane split push. There is outplay potential with, using the Olaf ulti before the Jax Counter-Strike comes out, which is not too hard, actually. If he sees a Counter-Strike come up, he's going to just pop that ulti. But a very wishy-washy top lane matchup, I would say. It's not completely Jax favored, though, so there is chances for Juan Carlos and Dark X to make a play in there.
Yeah, and with that, we are going to be able to transition to the game screen very shortly. Once we get into the in-game, we're already there. Okay, a little faster than I expected, but seeing that early aggression, that University of Wisconsin, maybe a little bit, fast on the draw there. They didn't really want to take a wholehearted fight, but they also didn't want to let Clout Chaser just kind of sit in that bush. And the orbs give them away a little bit. It's a massive Star Dragon, and now we are into game number 2. Remember, this is a series in which Waterloo lead 1-0.
Oh, Olaf is chasing with the axes.
Oh my gosh, this could be a very, very dangerous Karthus. Remember, he does not have any way to get out beyond that flash. He's going to have to use it at some point. There we go, first flash in, but he already gets caught by the axe again, first blood. And it's already dropped 1 minute and 16 seconds in. And would you believe it, Waterloo are off to an even faster start than last time.
Yeah, I think the blind nerd should have flashed a little bit to the left over that wall near the blue buff area, near that entrance. If he flashed over that wall towards the top lane outer turret, if you have a rough idea of where I'm talking about, towards that tri-bush up there, he could have maybe worked his way up there, walked that way, or at the very least traded flashes. He might have still died, but at least you have gotten 1 or 2 flashes from the Olaf Lee Sin, which at that point you can say, at least my top lane has something to work with. He can maybe make plays on that Olaf now. But you just gave over a kill to a Lee Sin, a very snowbally early game jungler. After that first recall, he's gonna have a much easier time getting that item, getting those items, getting that snowball going on.
Yeah, that snowball, talking about what, oh my gosh, wait, why is he taking so many turret shots in the mid lane? Cloud Chaser. Maybe he's getting a little bit over eager after, oh, it's Olaf top.
Yeah, did that not ring when I was talking about the matchup?
I guess I completely missed it, because I was focusing on this mid lane, but now they're focusing on the jungle. Arcanine Dan, he's already going down. No way he gets out with that ignite on him. And you're talking about that matchup. For people like me who might have missed it a bit, I've played a little bit of the Olaf top. It's really, really cheesy, right? We see these early axes. This is what his game plan is. Meowcat probably already talked you all through this, of course, because he's much more attentive than I am. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, I didn't talk too much about the Olaf's powers, where he can ultimate when the Counter-Strike comes out, make sure he doesn't get stunned. So he can kind of prevent the Jax from making those aggressive plays. Hold on a second in the bot lane. The stun's going to come out.
Aggressive play on the other side, though. Special K lands the hook onto the one that they want. Too hot, too trot. Now in danger. And it's getting too hot under his collar as well as he goes down to Special K. Bringing the pain very early. This is definitely part of his balanced breakfast. After all, so much gold has already gone over the side of Waterloo. They're going to be feeling fantastic today.
Yeah, and I mean,
another gank. There's no stopping this. Oh, in and out. Okay, maybe there is stopping this because they already burned that teleport.
Yeah, but they did get the teleport, and I mean, a bit of a flashy play by the Lee Sin there. But,
oh my gosh! Oh, Juan Carlos with the flash in. The Olaf disrespect by the Jax leads to a death in the early game. I can't believe what's going on right now. Already 2,000 gold. We said it was impressive at 7 minutes. At 4, it's downright ridiculous. And they're going to keep trying to pressure in, as we see right here. Karthus into the Asol. Definitely not a match if you want to be stuck in, because Asol has the perfect range advantage.
And, I mean, just... Ooh. Take a breather for a second here. This game is just off to a really rocky start for the side of Wisconsin. And I mean, Waterloo coming out swinging a lot of axes, notably. But as soon as he lands that first Q on this Olaf, he can kind of just chase down as long as they don't have the, you know, the Jax hop or any kind of mobility. And so the zoning tool, although he's getting a little bit low from those minions.
Yeah, again, right? The reason this matchup works, and I guess we didn't touch on it, I should mention, you know, the real, like, fantastic parts about it. Not just the axe chase, right?
The E.
But it's the fact that you have that E. Counter-Strike doesn't matter when you have that E because it goes straight through it. It's true damage. It's an insane amount of true damage, in fact, super early into the game. And it looks like with that axe, he is, in fact, maxing the E. So, opting for the all-in build rather than the cheese one, definitely a better choice, especially when you got that early lead.
Yeah. Plus, that Corruption Potion can kind of fix that mana issue a little bit of just, you know, tossing axe after axe. Obviously, Olaf gets a little more mana in the jungle when clearing because of the Talisman, as well as just being in the jungle, I believe, gives you some mana regen when you have a jungle item. So, he might have a little mana issues, but that Corruption Potion is going to fix a bit of that until he kind of has some ways to manage it. And, I mean, with, as well, the Conqueror, he's going to be getting more true damage coming out. He's going to be just healing a ton, too, in these trades. And I believe his W will increase the healing from Conqueror as well, as that's why kind of Redemption Olaf is a thing. Oh, mid lane.
Mid lane stun lands. Now they're going to use that Sonic Wave. Followed it up, and even though they have damage, they don't have enough. The ultimate from the Olaf has been used. He's taken way too many turret shots, though, and has dropped super low. Desolation. He's fought him off for now, but that was under turret with an additional 3 shots. If he didn't have any of those, for sure he was going to go down, so gotta be respectful on this Jazz, especially when he doesn't even have any components of his Triforce. Hook lands, more aggression. I mean, non-stop play by Waterloo right now. They have their foot to the floor and the pedal to the metal. It's just a question of whether or not they can actually capitalize. The Lee Sin is here. He's gonna try to make that happen, and they do so. Right before that last auto attack finishes him off, they will bring him down, and instead, the bot lane is where the action will actually get interesting. Flashing past that last bit of damage, not able to be found either. G1, he might have saved his AD carry, blocking 1 auto attack, the difference between life and death there.
Yeah. Ignite didn't come out by Special K. Don't know if he just didn't...
Was in range, maybe. He was trying to hook back G1, you know? So
yeah, he might have just not been paying attention to the aggressive play that Third Bolt was going for, which, I mean, it kind of caught everyone by surprise, I think.
True.
Ooh,
what a
nice
hook! Again, these hooks, it's like a Blitzcrank main on autopilot, you know? He's just throwing these out one after another.
Funny you mentioned that. I believe Special K, from previous history of knowing him, I think he does play a lot of Blitzcrank.
It looks like it, right? You're talking about sneaking these past, you know, abusing minion lines. Just the positioning reminds me of Blitzcrank players, right? It's just the way he actually goes around the minion waves, the angles he takes. It looks a lot like it, and after all, you want to talk about anyone who knows the supports, knows what they do, this would be the man to listen to. So glad we have him here. And unfortunately for Desolation, he is not glad Juan Carlos is behind him. What the heck are you supposed to do about that?
Yeah, just this Olaf is just running down the top lane, and that counter check isn't going to do anything inside E. We do see the Lee Sin behind the Karthus here.
With the stun used,
Can Dark X
kick time.
make the play?
Yeah, he's already getting here. That's kick. They already have kick if they want it. They don't, though. Sonic Wave is just going to be enough to do it. And now he's going to try and save Cloud Chase, but underneath the turret, he's actually going to go down. The second turret shot would have for sure
and it
finished
goes
him
over to
off.
the Karthus, too.
That's very good.
Yeah, that was a big blunder, I would say, giving 2 shutdowns over to kind of cripple this Karthus. Instead, I think you do more for him than otherwise, and I mean, the shutdown goes from Lee Sin.
Yeah, you know, he's down XP.
Oh, of course, he's in a really rough spot. But it is definitely worse off right now than before the dive, I think. I think that that was a definite botch play. Just probably a little bit over-aggressive. Could have done without it.
G1.
Still, they're in a perfectly fine spot.
Yeah, he's actually getting pulled in, and with that, the ultimate, both ultimates, in fact, are going to need to be used in order to try and bring down this Lucian. They flash forwards in unison, but that might be all that she wrote before he can even get the recall. Actually, right as he gets the recall, the Sonic Wave does land. Special K, though, he's got other plans, and G1 is going to make this a 2-for-1, even though Third Bolt went down, even though he doesn't get the kills. They still managed to capitalize on it Waterloo definitely on an entirely different pace this game.
Yeah, we do see Sejuani up on the top side.
Oh, Juan Carlos, he wants to turn this 1 versus 2. I think he actually has what it takes to do so, but the question is, when does this stun land, right? His ultimate doesn't last for forever. The Ragnarok, in fact, has already fallen off, and now it's all about the blind nerd getting chased into this topside jungle, cut off by Olaf. It's a 3 versus 3, but who is going to arrive first? That's the real question. The answer is the man from the from the freaking north. He is absolutely I can't even speak right now. I'm so sorry about this, guys. But what you do need to know is Desolation has a savior. It's G1. He's actually brought it back. Special K. I don't know if these know he's in this bush. Now they do. The ward is there. And it's there in time.
Ooh!
Oh, okay. Bringing him down. Winter's Bite takes a big old chomp out of Special K. Imperial, real easy to consume for him. And with no ultimate, Too Hot is going to be dropped as well. A great dive from Dark. Reading that they're on the top side of the map does, in fact, take advantage of that and get them a little bit more of a lead down this bot lane. Desolation. Oh. Doesn't even wait for that counter straight to go off.
No, I mean, he just like, can I block a little bit of this damage? Oh, no, I'm dead. Okay. And look at that. Turret plating, third bolt just picked up one right there by himself. Got a full 160 gold all to his own. And, I mean, this Lucian just getting that turret plating, getting those kills, and even just the assists. He's not only that 1 kill, but he's getting that assist gold still. He's getting that turret plating all for himself.
That Ace Soul on 4 and 2, though. Sin 5 and 1. Olaf 3 and 0.
It's a bit of a one-sided game. Definitely a rough start.
Yeah, at 11
Considerably worse than last game.
6,000 gold differential in the first turret. It's gonna drop here, right? He's just waiting it out, trying to get as much of a wave pushed back as he can. It's not gonna happen, but this Karthus isn't gonna live much longer either. If he has anything to say about it, he being Dark. And Cloud Chaser might have to finish that one off, but finish it off he does. A great pickup for them. Getting another kill on the mid laner, more time hitting this turret, and they're just trying to bring down all the outers in sequence.
And just, yeah, tower plating after tower plating, turret plating, excuse me. Just, that's just so much gold. I mean, look at the gold difference right now. It is already a solid 7k at 12 minutes. That is ridiculous.
Only 1 turret. Oh, stun lands. No cleanse this time. Cloud Chaser, he's going to go down. They give it over to the Karthus. Dark is trying for the 1 versus 1. Kicks him back into turret. Beautiful combo there onto the enemy Sejuani. Arcanine does go down. 1-for-1 trade. And yeah, they gave it over to the blind nerd, but they need to do something more to slow this game down. What can they do, actually? I need to ask, because I actually don't know what they're supposed to do in this situation.
Yeah, so you do have scaling, right? The Lucian will fall off, the Lee Sin will fall off in comparison to their counterparts. Only problem is Olaf is extremely fed that even if Jax at full items would win in the side lane, or at, a 4 item to 4 item, Jax would win, 3 item to 3 item, maybe Jax would win. You can make an argument that after he gets some sustain of some sort, with that Conqueror, he'd also be able to win it out. But this Olaf is so ahead of the Jax, with 1.5 items to the half an item of the Jax, that it is going to take so long for this Jax to even potentially overtake him. They would never win the split push, and oh, maybe he can get something here though.
This is quite a fight that has erupted. They actually do have Dark in their sights, and before he can dash over the wall, they dispatch of Lee Sin. Blinded by his own ambition, he falls, but do they have what it takes to turn it around? It seems like they might. Cloud Chaser, even though he falls as well, this is now turning into a very messy fight, one that Wisconsin, I think, are very happy with as well. A 2-for-2 trade, absolutely fine when you're that much gold down.
Definitely just...
Unless it wasn't a trade, look at the Rift Herald mid. He's already gotten the tier 2. Could be more, in fact. 1 versus 2. Juan Carlos, he's not exactly done with this. He's letting the Rift Herald go in. Shelly getting a big charge off. Juan Carlos, if he takes one more shot, he's going to be very, very low. In fact, he decides to back off. The Xayah had to be forced back bot lane as well, so this is going to be third Bolt's turret. That's 4 turrets before the 15-minute mark. And all of them, actually all of them except for one, with the plating.
Yeah, there is just so much gold over the whole map. Now this gold lead has become 7.5. It is just... This is just ridiculous at this point. Yeah, the 900 bounty on this Olaf. They are dropping a couple more kills than they really should be over on the side of Winchester, but... Sorry, Waterloo, but oh my.
This is getting really, really... okay, so maybe it was just the Braum. They're okay with just leaving it at that. They don't really want to commit more than
now,
just G1.
Earthdrake is up.
Earthdrake, oh, you remember the stacking mountains and stacking dragons? That's
Let's give
him
him another triple Earthdrake. Maybe some Infernal sprinkled in this time too.
I think the very interesting thing is Jax is a pure split pusher. He's not the fast, right? That's, I think, one of his biggest weaknesses. That in terms of being able to actually get the split push off, take the turrets down, he's not the fastest guy in the world for it. So if he is left alone in the side lane, especially when he doesn't even have Triforce yet, it's not that big of a deal, right? He didn't even get one turret, one outer for all the time he spent up there.
Yeah, after he gets that Triforce, gets a bit of that attack speed, also having the Sheen procs every once in a while, he can really start chomping on those towers, especially because I believe his passive does stack up against the towers, so he will be able to easily access that attack speed. But he's just not dealing that much damage at this point yet, and I mean, because the Drake was just taken, they could easily put the bot lane of Waterloo to the top side. Now this Jax is gonna have to go start on a new fresh tower up in the down in the bottom side, and just all of his progress is reset.
Same as the first. This is certainly getting a little bit of the same old, I would say. The Jax in the top lane, he can't really stop the Olaf, nor does he want to, I would say. Right? If he goes too far, he would just go down. Where's this hook coming from? They don't even know he's there, but they get him anyway, and the Olaf is going to charge through the rest of the team. Desolation. He's going to be the first victim claimed by the Wisconsin Rampage, but certainly not the last. The Blind Nerd, he has to run away as well. But with Wisconsin spacing out their members, they don't lose anyone else. 2 down already, though, is going to make this hold incredibly difficult. And as they come in from the backside, Cloud Chaser and Dark, and then from the front side with Juan Carlos, they're going to make this not just difficult, but impossible as they bring down yet more members. 4 of them already dispatched with. Now Too Hot, only one remaining, and he just has to ult to live.
Yeah, Dark X making some really neat plays on this Lee Sin,
Flash
and
without even
needing the ultimate or the flash. Now a little bit of a risky situation here, though.
Oh, the Counter-Strike already expired before the Jax left in. Now they're going to try to turn it around again. The Unstoppable is here. The Ragnarok is up, and he gets the kill. What a play. And in from the backside. Cloud Chaser's done this so many times with the macro rotation around the side. They do get that kill. In response, the Aatrox is gone, but the Jax falls as well. So many members are going down, and this just looks like the beginning of the end of it all, right? Game number 2, we thought this was the time for Wisconsin to make a comeback, but Waterloo are just relentless in their aggression. Heal, it's not going to matter, and it's 17, 18 minutes into the game. The Nexus turrets are going to be the next thing, and the only things remaining in the sights of Waterloo. With 2 of their AD members up, they should be able to take these, but they don't really want to stick around. Instead of opting for this inhibitor tower, they can back off, because there's no risk to do it so.
Just complete domination in this game. Now, I believe that Waterloo did drop a few more kills than required, than they needed to. If you see, every single member except that Olaf has some deaths, and they did give over some shutdown gold quite a few times. I mean, you have a Magis with only 6 stacks on it. Hello?
Yeah.
Why isn't there a few more on that one when, you know, you're at their Nexus in 18 minutes? But even at that point, you know, it's just about, hey, did they win really hard, or did they win really, really, really hard? Now, it seems pretty clear-cut what they need to do. Dragon in a minute 30, Baron in a minute. Just go bot lane, group up together. If you're able to crack the base open without those neutral objectives, that's great. If not, you shove bot lane for a while, have the minions flood in, go for the Baron elbow.
Oh, but
Dark X.
Dark is in a little bit of trouble now. Maybe he is saved by his teammate. He gets 1 kill, 2nd kill. Not going to be able to be found. In fact, trades his own life out. And now Cloud Chaser, he might have overextended, but the Olaf teleporting behind them is going to try to ensure that this is
Might be able to pick
not
up
in the
kills on his
they
own.
can make happen. G1, Special K, introducing them to more members of the team. There they pull in the AD carry, and the Olaf tries to make it 2, 3, and 4 members that have already gone down. He can't be blown up by the blast cone, which means the Desolation hasn't escaped. But with that amount of super minions crashing into their Nexus towers, you have to think it's just a matter of inches before they finish it all off. And here they will go in for the last push, or what should be the last push of the game. Waterloo, they have a Karthus to contend with. They have a Jax counter-striking in, a good stun from him. They do bring down the Thresh, one more member, but that's just not enough, and they will clean up the series at just over 20 minutes. Total game time under an hour as they win this 2-0. What a game. What a series by Waterloo.
Yeah, that was just... I mean, you thought game 1 was rough. Game 2, they just... I mean, I think at that point they were just going for style points, and all the deaths were just, whoopsie. That was such a dominant game by Waterloo, and I mean, I think that Olaf pick, while, you know, not something you can pick every game, while not blindable, worked so well in this draft here. Against all that heavy crowd control, the Olaf was able to just run crazy and got so much value. I really did like that pick.
That's crazy. I mean, the Olaf pick, it's just, you think about how quickly it just ended the game. It just ran through them, and I was just, it's an insane pick, and it actually did work out for them. Waterloo clean up the series very quickly. Wisconsin going to be knocked into, there should be a lower bracket still, correct? There is a lower bracket. I'm getting confirmation, so they're in lower bracket now. They're not out, not singly elim, as I once thought in playoffs, so they got a little bit of time, but going to have to fight their way back through this. Waterloo advancing to that next round, and we got some more games coming up in a bit, but of course, we have more games after this as well. If you're interested in CSGO, stick right on this channel. If you're not, you just want to follow the League of Legends, follow us at C-Star League and CSL LOL on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter if you really feel like that. But otherwise, subscribe to this channel. And I would like to thank you all very much for watching and wish you a good night.